Okay, I'm going to show you how to use the oil paint dilutant as a blender with the colour pencils. I'm just going to use a snow leopard's eye. So I've sketched it out. I'm going to show you. I'm not applying too much pressure at the moment. I like applying it quite finely to start off with, so if I make a mess up, I can rub it out with a rubber. So once you've gone past a certain amount of pressure being applied, you can't rub it out. So I'm starting off, I'm just outlining the eye. Pushing down a bit harder now, I just want to get that outline. Once I've done one light layer, I'm just going over it again, a little bit harder this time, because this area of the eye is actually, it's black, so I want it dark. Okay. Just get a grey. And I'm going to leave. I know some people like to use the white pencil on the white areas. So say this area here, you can block that out in white so that you're less likely to go over it later. But to be honest, I just leave the paper showing through. But it's not completely white, that bit. It is a very light grey, so I'm just very, very lightly going in with the grey. I mean, it takes practice to know how much pressure to put down on pencils, to know the colour that you want. Just practice on a bit of paper. You don't have to practice on an animal, you can just practice using a square, a triangle, circle or something. A really good video that I watched when I was starting out is Lisa Lackery's video on her YouTube channel. Just Google or go on YouTube and just find her colour pencil blending techniques. It's a really good video and she shows you all the different techniques for blending. But I'm just showing you the one that I use with the oil paint dilutant today. So I'm building up the grey here. I'm not pushing down very hard at all. It's just a case of layering up the pencils. So now I can pick the black up. Ooh, that's my paintbrush. Just put that back. And I'm going to go over the grey with a bit of the black. And I can see here, this bit of fur goes out, protrudes out from the bottom of the eye. So I'm following the hairlines with the black, just so that I don't have too much of a straight line at the edge. So I'll do that bit quite dark. And then I know where to follow. And then I'm going to gradually build up the pressure from the outside in. But I want to leave this bit light grey. It's so important when you're doing an eye to get the highlights right, to give that wet look, that 3D look. I've got some more hairs going out here. And just keep looking at the reference photo. Just keep looking back at what you're doing. Okay, so I'll just grab my paintbrush and I want this bit to be really dark, so I'm just going over what I've done with the Zest it, starting off the edge, and then, I mean, I'm hardly pushing down with my paintbrush, but you can see how black that's got. And you can apply the same pressure techniques as when you're applying the pencil. You know, the harder you push down, the more you're pushing the thinner into the paper and the darker it's going to get. If you press it very lightly, it'll only apply a little amount and it'll be lighter. So now I'm going to go into this bit. I'm following the third line. Now it will carry a little bit of a pencil with it if you're doing, say, a brush stroke to do a bit of fur. If you see what I mean here, you can see, just focus, that it carries a little bit, so you can actually use the same technique as you would if you were painting and use the brush to follow the brush stroke. So I'll let that dry and we can pick up the black again. There's a highlight in the eye here. I'm going to leave that white so you can see the paper. Just like that. Now you can take a white and just block out that bit. I prefer just leaving it white paper, to be honest, but I'll do it this way for now. I'm pushing down a bit harder here because I do want this area to be very black. Another highlight here. Okay. Another layer of the paint dilutant. Okay. I'm just going to leave that like that for now. But what I'm going to do now is pick up a light brown and just work my way out from the black, very lightly to start with. Now you can see on the eye some colour variations here. So I'm going to push a bit harder. I get a darker brown and go over that. It's easier if you start off with the lighter colours and put the darker colours on top. Whereas if you're using oil paints, you start dark and you can put light on top. That's the opposite with colour pencils. I'm leaving this highlight white. Now, you've got to look closer to see the different colours that are in here. So I can see some blues, I can see some greens, there's beige, there's raw sienna in there. So I'm going to get a green. My pencil needs sharpening, but go for it. And apply a light layer of the green. And I'll get a blue. And if you find that you've done the colours wrong, don't panic. You can always blend it and then go over it again. And just build up the layers until you get the right colours. I actually need a darker blue, I think. So dark brown. And some grainy bits in the eye here. See these lines? Make sure you put those in. It looks a bit of a mess at the moment, but it'll all come together once you start blending. There's actually a light bit here. I don't know if you can see it on the picture. Just here, I want to keep that. Just go over with the light. Get my black. Don't worry too much if your eye isn't circular. Mine's not quite perfect. You can always come back to it and do that at the end. It's just about right. Watching my pupil. Right, I'm going to do a bit of blending. So, I always start at the edges. Not applying much pressure with my paintbrush. But you'll slowly start to see all of the colours I've just laid up come through as they appear a little bit more vibrant as they're being blended. And it's actually coming out a little bit too brown, but that's okay. You can blend over the edges because it just makes the lines less harsh. You see what I mean? Where I've done the highlight, blended it in a bit, and it's carried a little bit of grey. Okay, that will do for that, so we can leave that to dry. And we can start moving on with the next bit. It's just important to pay attention to what's going on in your reference photo. I've just noticed a little, very faint highlight here. Can you see that? It's light blue. So I'm just going to leave that, and I'm going to go over it with a lighter blue later on. I'm going to get the black now. Oops. I'm just going to continue this up here, and I'm going to leave the paper white where the highlights are. I often find when I'm drawing, if I stick to one area for too long, I get bored, so that's why sometimes I'll jump around the page a bit. It's quite boring just blocking in black. Going on with the light brown now. There's a nice dark bit of brown here. So push down a bit harder there. I want it dark. Get the dark brown. You can even add a bit of this colour to it as well. A bit of a reddish brown. See, my pencils are not in the right order at the moment, which does irritate me, but I didn't have time to sort them out last time I put them back. Okay, I'm going to go over that with some the paint thinner now. I'm just using the tip of the paintbrush for this bit because I want to create the effect of fur, so I'm just following the lines that I've already drawn. Following the direction the fur's going in. Now we can leave this area to dry. This is fine now. We can go over that with a bit more colour. the line down here is a bit too straight, so I'm just going to blend it in on the very outline, make it darker. There's actually a tint of blue. So very, very lightly I'll go over with it with a little bit of the blue. I'm pushing down quite hard now because I've already done quite a few layers with the dilutant and the pencil. So I'm really pushing into the paper, burnishing. And then I'm just applying it lighter here. And then heavy again here. You can get the white and then just go over, push down quite hard. Another tip that I have is I use a paint marker. I just got this one from Hobbycraft, and if I've gone over the white bits with pencil and I want just a few highlights, I can just go over the white bits with a bit of this. It's a neat little trick. Sometimes it comes across a bit hard, so if you just dab it with your finger, a nice little highlight, and you can whiten a few of these areas if you want to. And there you go, the snow leopard die.